Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores. This core set of goods will include all fresh produce, meat, and seafood, along with 20 other essential items like cheese, milk, and bread.
I promised you guys a video critiquing Mayor Zoran Mamdani, and I'm going to give that to you. So, as you can tell from the intro, my issue is with the 30% off, the blanket 30% off on groceries. I think that this will lead more towards a communist style rather than just maintaining more of a democratic socialist, and it is something that I think that they should address in the future to change. So, by setting these as 30% off the average retail cost, that is going to significantly hurt grocery stores solely on the factor that these grocery stores are available to every New Yorker. Actually, they're available to anybody that wants to walk in them, but essentially they're available to every New Yorker. I think that that is what's going to cause the problem. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a bad idea. Believe it or not, I am actually a believer that a city should actually try to make a little bit of money. I am a believer that a state should try to make a little bit of money, and that the federal government should try to make a little bit of money. I believe that businesses or these departments should try to make a small profit. Purpose being, the more profit you can make off of it by utilizing the people that are actually using the programs, the less you have to tax individuals. But let's get back to the grocery stores. I can explain that in another video later on if you'd like. But back to the grocery stores. There is a way that I believe that this could work better whilst not significantly harming grocery stores. Because there are a lot of local grocery stores in New York. So, step one, I would not just blanket 30% off everything. I would treat it more like a commissary with a markup. Step two, I would not allow it to every single New Yorker, let alone anybody that wants to go in there. And step three, I would look at how the profits are going and I would see where we can utilize that somewhere else to create another program that allows money to be able to be brought into the city from others while still discounting New Yorkers. So, step one, the reason why I would not do the blanket 30% off is because certain things don't actually get priced up 30%, which means you're going to have to subsidize that somewhere else. I am more of a fan of Mark Cuban's approach with his cost plus drugs. With his cost plus drugs, you are buying your prescriptions at cost plus a small percentage, plus you are paying a flat fee for the pharmacy and a flat fee for shipping, and that's it. If New York did the same approach with their groceries, they wouldn't have to subsidize it with tax dollars later on as it generates more and more income. So step two, the reason why I would prefer for it to be only available to EBT earners or potentially a certain income threshold. Besides the fact that this allows private businesses to still operate and not operating under just a citywide grocery store after 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what this would do is they would have their EBT cards and they can stretch them out further. Additionally, your tax dollars went towards those EBT cards. Their tax dollars went towards those EBT cards too. If New York uses a different phrase other than EBT card, I apologize, but that's what I know it as an EBT card, which would be like SNAP. But by allowing the dollar to be able to stretch in there, they can get more food, more nutritious food as well, as opposed to having to go with everyone else where it's the same set price, and they're very limited, especially since they've been making cuts to SNAP across the country or within the federal government, which has been putting a huge strain on some individuals. Step three, my favorite one. After it creates profit, utilizing profit towards something else to better help the citizens of New York. So we've already gone over, I'll reiterate again, I am okay with the city making money as long as there is a purpose for it and it doesn't do undue harm towards private businesses. So after it creates a profit, you could, or they could put it towards creating a different program to help out a different problem there. For example, one of the issues right now is homelessness and also people not being able to afford homes. Well, after they start to create a profit, you could put funding towards that plus some additional funding throughout the city's taxes and profits to create something like boarding homes and affordable, subsidized, city-owned, rent-controlled houses. Essentially, what I'm meaning by that is essentially Section 8, where people could either if they're getting the Section 8, they could rent one of the affordable homes to to be able to live in, but it would bring some of that money back into the city to help subsidize, so that that way your tax dollars aren't paying for it as badly, because those tax dollars are going to get redistributed back to the city of New York. And in the case of like boarding homes, what this could do is, as you're getting somebody back on their feet that's single, don't doesn't have kids, maybe they're married, or they it's just a husband and wife, or husband and husband, wife and wife, however you want to look at it. Essentially, at that point in time, they're giving up a percentage of their income to pay for the boarding home, well, to pay for their room in the boarding home. This helps them get back on their feet, especially if they're homeless and right now they don't have a house at all. But this also benefits young people that are wanting to come into the city as well, or they work in the city and they can't really afford anything right now because let's just say they make a monthly salary of $3,000, and we will say that the rent charged is 33% of your income. I'm just trying to make it very easy to divide that into three. $1,000 would go towards their rent, which would cover their housing, utilities, and potentially even a cafeteria if they really wanted to go old school with those boarding homes. And that money would then go into the city. However, it would lower the demand on housing for others that are paying an absorbent amount on housing because of how limited housing are and how expensive people go to make their rent. Yeah, so that's my critique of Zoran Mamdani's grocery stores at the current moment. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of how they're being approached, but I am a fan of the fact that they are trying to do something, and do think that they should do more on it, instead of saying, "Oh, nope, this is terrible. You need to back out completely." But I do want to address why I'm being nicer to Zoran Mamdani over being harsh to other people that I've had in other videos. He is not out there attacking Republicans, despite him being a Democrat in this video. He is not sitting there saying that Republicans are evil. He's not lying about Republicans in this video to try to sway votes. So therefore, I am going to be nicer in the video. Should he say something later on and him criticize somebody and I disagree with it politically, I will be meaner, just like I am with Joe Redden, just like I am with anybody in the Trump administration, or or anybody else that says something like that. So have a great day, and remember, I encourage people to approach this with respectful dialogue in the comment sections. And I can come back with as much energy as you would like if you want to be disrespectful in the comment section, instead of having a respectful dialogue. Because the whole purpose is we need to talk as a country. We are not we the party, we are we the people. Like it says right there.